Welcome back to the channel, everybody.
What's happening?
You guys may remember this bike from an earlier video where we had a problem with the handlebars and the handlebar grip throttle sensor wiring, where we resolved that problem for the customer. Well, he liked our work so well that he decided he wanted to put in a stage 2. So in this video today, we're literally going to do our best to do a step-by-step on what it takes to do a stage 2 on a twin cam 103. The first thing we're doing right now is removing the floorboard. Second thing will be removing the breather so we can get access to the push rods. Third thing we're going to do is pull the front exhaust off, get it out of the way so we can get access to all of the different screws here. Once those things are done, I'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like when you crack open the cam chest, and we'll show you how to set the engine at specific spots so that you can release and get rid of the push rods for each cylinder. There's a whole process involved for doing that, so hang in there, we'll be right back. All right, so a stage 2 consists of cams, tuner, header, and breather. The customer already installed the ThunderMax on his own and the headers on his own before he brought it down for the handlebar repair that another shop did those for him, but we fixed the problem. So again, stage 2 consists of cams, adjustable push rods. We're going to put new shoes on it, on the tensioners, new lifters, and he wants black lifter blocks put on it to match his black push rod tubes. So these are the S&S MR103 chain drive cams. This is a 585 bolt-in cam. Comes with the bearings, gaskets, new clips, O-rings, all that kind of stuff. So as we progress, we'll try to do as much of a step-by-step as we possibly can. All right, we've got the breather off so we can have access to the push rods pretty easily. We've got the front header loose and out of the way. You don't really need to remove it. Sometimes you can get away with that, but see, we have access to all our screws now because the header is just a little bit out of the way. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to remove all these screws. This has to be removed by tapping on it. It's going to be stuck on. So we'll tap on it with a rubber hammer until it breaks loose, and then some fluid will come out. We'll show you how to set the motor and where to set the motor before you move forward. All right, right now Tony's removing all the screws. All right, what we're about to do right now might look brutal, but it's necessary. Every technician does it and every Harley shop does it. So we're going to tap on the top corner of this cover with a rubber mallet. All right, go ahead, Tony. There, do you hear that sound? That's what you're waiting on. And he didn't hit it all that hard. And there's no damage to the chrome. This is a thing that everybody's got to do, especially on a factory sealed engine, and that's what this is. If that cover had been off before, chances are that wouldn't have had to have been done. That's what you got to do. Don't let it be something that you're afraid of. Okay, this is the point where it's really important that you put the engine in the right spot. Okay, so we've already removed the spark plugs and the bike is in neutral. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to line up the timing marks. So Tony's going to spin the motor around. Now if you'll notice, there's a timing mark there and a timing mark here. This is top dead center on the front right now. We don't want that. We want to go to where the timing marks match down here, which will be top dead center on the rear. We're going to start on the rear. It's just our method and the way we do it. We like to go forward and then work backwards. All right, so he went a little bit past. Now he's going to back it up. Right, that's good enough. Okay, that's close enough. Now, theoretically, these push rods should spin. That one does, and that one does. Now, he can cut these push rods out now, and there's no tension on them. No springs are going to pop around or whatever. So once he cuts these out, then we're going to spin this timing mark back around to the top, which will put the front cylinder top dead center, and he'll cut those tubes, and then we'll work our way and pull everything out. All right, he's going to be cutting one of the tubes out just to show you what you got to do. Boom. It takes a lot of muscle. So that's what you got to do to get the push rods out. All right, so the next step will be pulling the cam gears off and then pulling the cam plate out with the lifters, the lifter blocks. We're going to replace the bearings, all that kind of stuff, so hang tight. Okay, so this is the factory bearing that comes out of these things. If you'll notice, there's a space between each roller. That's what the factory puts in there. Not that good. Compare to the bearing on the right, that's the bearing we're putting in the bike. It's literally twice as good. So if you're doing a job like this, you might want to consider putting in the correct bearing. And this is the back side of the cam plate. If you'll notice the red thing there, that's a fueling tensioner shoe. It's got the brand new S&S MR103 cams in there. And we always try to make sure that we put the assembly lube on all the surfaces, which you'll see Tony doing right about now. And then that makes it so that the bike doesn't have a dry start. Dry start wouldn't be good. Always be sure to torque down these quarter 20 screws. I believe it's about 115 inch-pounds or so right in there. It ain't much, don't take much, but you just always want to make sure you torque those down. And since we didn't move the engine, the cam gears should line right back up. All right, we're going back in with new lifters, and the customer wanted black lifter blocks, so we're going back in there with black lifter blocks. It's going to look really nice. I think that was a good call. And black push rod tubes. It's going to look really nice. Okay, now we're going back in with the push rods, adjustable push rods, and the brand new black push rod tubes with the quickie adjustable push rods from S&S. I think S&S probably owes me a sponsorship by now, don't you, Tony?
I think so.
All right, now he's adjusting the push rods out. All right, what he just did there was 24 flats or 4 turns. So a flat, each bolt is 6-sided. So they call one of each side a flat. So it depends on how you want to count it or install it. A lot of people want to do it 1 flat at the time to get real accurate. After a while, if you've done it 1,000 times, you kind of can do it your own way. But the bottom line is that it's precisely measured at 4 turns.
Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Or 24 flats. Just a dab of Loctite goes on. We don't like for these to back off. There's 2 schools of thought. Some people say don't put blue Loctite on them. Some people say do. We do, and it seems to work for us. We don't like to get a customer 10 miles down the road saying their bike's making a racket. And it's happened, and it'll probably happen again. It's just part of doing this every day. But all you can do is take the best precautions you can to try to avoid that stuff from happening. Doesn't really hurt anything as long as it's caught. Done it. So now he's got to wait for that one to bleed down. While he's waiting for it to bleed down, going to do the other one. By bleed down, we have to make sure that those push rods will spin freely between your index finger and thumb before we can continue on. The lifter has to bleed down to the correct height So he'll finish up that one and we'll be right back. Back with a little dab of blue, and he's going to lock that one down. And there you go. So now we can check to see if the other push rod is spinning. It's not quite ready, so we're going to let it cook for a little bit. That's slang for wait. We're going to let it stew for a little bit. We're going to let it simmer.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We're going to let the coals get hot. You got any other ones? We're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait patiently for the push rod. Oh, wait. To loosen. We're going to wait patiently for the push rod to loosen. The push rod's technically not going to loosen. The lifter will bleed out to the correct height, and then the push rod will spin freely. That means there's no tension on the lifters and the springs and the rockers, any of the valve train before we move forward to the rear cylinder.
Well, you sound like a pretty handy guy.
The what? The what? And the what?
Okay, we are now at the point of waiting for one push rod to be able to spin, and we'll be on our way back together with the rest of it. Look how nice those black push rods look with the black lifter blocks. It's getting late in the day. We'll probably finish this up in the morning, get the ThunderMax all set, and get it out and see how it runs. See you in the morning. Okay, we're back at it this morning. We're going to be finishing up the cam install, which is basically just bolting a couple things back together. And then we are now going to jump into setting up the ThunderMax. So I'm going to go back to this screen that you know and love, and I'll go over everything for getting this particular bike set up. Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn the bike on, and it looks like it's going to link up pretty well. Now, this has already been previously installed and set up by the customer, so I'm sure it's been registered. I'm sure the VIN number's in it, but we'll double check. All right, trouble code, probably because we've got something disconnected. We do, we got the throttle body disconnected, so let's ignore that. Yep, we got it disconnected. Don't even worry about that. Ain't even a thing. All right, let's go in here and look at the VIN. Yeah, he's got it in there, 13. I told you wrong in the earlier video. I thought this was a Rushmore, but it's a 2013. It's okay, it's still a good bike. This one's just not the CAN bus model. So in 14, they started the CAN bus stuff. So this is 13 and back. No big deal, it's still fine, it's still a great motorcycle. Not a big deal at all. Let's see if it was registered. Yep, he's got his information in there. Okay, now let's look for a map. Okay, so let's go in here and open my files. And here's Steve, 14-year model 103. This was saved on 3/27/24, so this is it. I already loaded it, but let's load it again just to be double sure. There it goes. As you can see here on the top, that's the map from my 2014 103. So what we're going to do is we're going to write maps and settings to the bike. Yes, it has compression releases. All right, now that's going to put this bike a whole lot closer than one of the maps that they have loaded in there, because it's basically comes off of a bike that I had set up for myself with the exact same components. So it should run excellent.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
This would be a good example of showing how two exact bikes, even though this is a 13 and mine was a 14, it's the same bike, the 103, same cam, same exhaust, same breather, everything. But it'll once we get this one ready to fire up, I'll show you the differences between the two bikes. See how there's that red line right there was how much different mine made from the stock map. Bear in mind, AFR correction versus engine temperature. This particular side of the tune below 180 degrees is basically for warm up. It has really nothing to do with the tune when you go out and ride it. All I'm doing when I do these idle tunes is I'm just making sure that when the bike starts, that it idles correctly and runs like it's supposed to before we go out and operate the motorcycle above 180 degrees. That's a whole nother element to the map. I had some questions the other day. Someone had asked me, several people had asked me, so you're tuning the bike while it's idling? No, not technically, but it is setting up the map for the engine operating below normal operating temperature. 180 degrees is deemed normal operating temperature by ThunderMax. So anything above 180 degrees goes to a whole nother section in the map. Anything below 180 degrees is considered warm up. During an idle tune, or when we monitor the idling part while it's warming up, we get all kinds of indications as to what's going on with that motor. We can tell all kind of stuff. So it's a useful tool before 180. I'm not literally tuning the motorcycle. I hope that people don't think that. I'm not literally tuning the motorcycle while it's sitting here on the bench. I'm doing an idle tune. So when it cranks up for the customer, it idles like it's supposed to, and there's no issues. That's what I'm doing. All right, so this is what my 14 did, and when we fire up this 13 model, we'll look and see the differences. Even though they're identical motorcycles, almost identical motorcycles, they're pretty much twins, I would bet that this 13 is going to make some changes here. All right, hope that's confusing enough for you, because it certainly wasn't meant to be. But if you need to rewind and listen to my babble once again, you certainly can at this point. So we'll be back after the accessories are put back on the bike and the exhaust is hooked back up, and we'll watch this thing go through its paces before it gets to engine operating temperature. All right, be right back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn this bike on. We've got everything completed on the other side as far as the breather, the cam cover, the push rods are set, exhaust is on, exhaust shield, all that goodness. So this is the real-time initial startup. Let's watch it do its thing. All right, we're going to hit the monitor button. It'll tell us the temperature inside the building is 67 degrees. Let's see if it'll fire off. This part of this equation is doing two things. We're going to prove that no two engines are the same, even with exact components, exact engine size. So this is the initial idle tune. That's what it means. It's tuning the idle circuit up to 180 degrees. It's making some changes, but not many. Let's just see what it does. All right, it reached 180 degrees, so the idle part of the tuning has cycled through. So let's take a look at what we got. It followed the same map pattern as my 103. It just changed it a little bit, just a little bit, but it still followed the same pattern. So we're going to go ahead and do an auto map. All right, we're going to go ahead, put the fan on it, and do one more. I don't think this one's going to need much more than a couple of idle runs. Hang tight, we'll be right back. Tony's back from the test ride. You got anything negative to say?
There ain't no negative to that. That 103 runs good.
The 585 cam does it, don't it?
Yeah, it done good. It'll roll on.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. It's officially been stamped good to go. So, as usual, I really appreciate you watching. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, thanks for watching anyway, because I know you got this far in the video. I'm always here at the shop, usually. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me or call on the phone. If you're within 100 miles, come on by one day. You know, if you have something you want done, come on by and see the shop, talk to us. We're just regular dudes. So, I'm Steve Carr, and I'll talk to you later.